So thinking back to high school fights, I can remember, and I'll say this often to my students, people say, well, were you ever afraid of getting hurt? A little bit, but not really. Okay, I had taken shots. I've been training a long time. I played football. So taking a shot or getting hurt wasn't really my concern. What I was more concerned about was being embarrassed. Okay, I didn't want to lose a fight or even give the illusion that I lost a fight. So when you're thinking about fighting, the biggest thing that comes up is, why does a fight start? It generally starts with ego, right? That's why a conflict happens, is ego starts to take place. And I remember, I'll share with you guys a little story because I think it's important, especially when we can come off, we're in the most ego-filled industry there is with martial arts, right? And I think a lot of guys come off, I'm a badass, I crap badass bricks, and I'm just like the toughest guy on the planet and nothing could faze me. But we all train for different reasons and come from different reasons. And the important thing for me is for my students to get realism from me, to like really feel like I relate to them on a certain level, that I know what it's like to feel embarrassed. I know what it's like to be bullied, but then I also know what it's like to turn the page and feel confident and to feel like I can walk, not just feel confident, but walk with that confidence and get that respect that I want in my everyday life. It doesn't mean that I have to be an a-hole about it. I can be a normal everyday guy, but still feel like I can translate that. But even still today, I don't want to feel like I'm going to be embarrassed or feel shame in the sense that I wouldn't be able to defend myself or a loved one, and that's been a driving factor for me. When I was a kid in junior high, probably when people ask me what my most embarrassing moment is, I'll go ahead and share it with you. I'll be vulnerable for my students here so that I can relate and tell you that I've been on the same page. So I'm like 13 years old. I've been training for a little bit here. Anyways, I'm in PE class. We're playing soccer on the field. Me and this guy kind of get into it. He was bigger than me. He's kind of scary, this gangster looking kid. I'm just this little short Irish dude, and the boys circle up and I'm like, oh man, it's going to happen. I'm ready. I get into my karate stance at the time, and before I know it, my back leg is uncontrollably shaking. And I'm trying everything to tell it, please stop, and I hope nobody notices. And somebody did. Somebody pointed it out and said, that guy is scared. Look at his leg. And then pretty soon everybody's watching it. And my big friend saved me. He didn't do it in the nicest way. I mean, he basically exited me out of the fight by calling me a wuss. But I got out of that confrontation, but I told myself, it's okay to experience fear, but I don't ever want to experience that again. Okay? I can experience fear, but I don't want to experience embarrassment or shame. I at least want to feel confident that I can translate what I've learned in my training to doing that. And everybody feels that sense of embarrassment when you're learning a new technique, maybe. And I like to get everything right away. And if I don't get it right away, I get frustrated. And so for me, one of those things that I've done with this system is I want the techniques. I teach you how to go from some of the most basic techniques, but translate them into being extremely effective and something that you trust and believe in. Because I don't want you to experience that embarrassment or shame. I want you to feel like, hey, I could do this. And every lesson, I'm going to build that proficiency and that confidence that you're going to feel better, to where you don't feel like you're in a situation, you're walking out from a movie with your girlfriend, some dude wants to beat you up, that you're going to start crying and get scared and run away. You may actually have to defend yourself. And I want to be careful to tell the difference between fear and embarrassment. We all experience fear to a certain degree, okay? We all get that fight or flight response. We may get a little scared. There's actually another video that I talk about how important it is to breathe and get focused in a street altercation. But embarrassment's different, okay? Embarrassment's where I let that fear control me and I feel like I can't do anything about it, and then I give way to that, okay? I allow that to overcome me to where I do nothing. So instead of being overwhelmed and overcome by that embarrassment or fear, I can show bravery. And one of the tricks that I kind of tell myself is we can so easily look around and say everybody's watching me or everybody's judging me. One thing that I've learned in my adult life is nobody really cares. Nobody really cares. You can see that with street altercations. Instead of anybody helping or trying to jump in, instead they got their camera out, right? They got their camera out and they're a bystander, okay? So the first thing that you need to tell yourself is you're in charge of taking care of yourself, okay? So stop worrying about what anybody else is thinking, because if you're worried about what the dude next door is doing or anybody else, and you're 30, 40, 50 years old, you're missing the meaning of life and we need to get restructured, okay? What I'm concerned about is I need to take care of myself and my loved ones. That's what's most important, okay? So reframe a little bit in your mind. We're going to help you with that at Satori, okay? Even from your very first lesson, everything builds off the next one. So as you're learning things physically, so you're going to build physical competence, physical confidence, and you're going to keep building that mastery to where you're going to feel better. And you're going to feel like you can defend yourself. But also mentally, what we're going to work on is doing the same exact thing. We're going to build mastery and building this part right here, okay? We're going to be working on this performance coaching. When it matters most, being able to efficiently handle any situation that may come, okay? It's not just about the punching and kicking. And give us an opportunity to show you what we do.